What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for lineups.com. Talk a little Thursday night football here between the Bills and the Texans. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below as we take a look here at this spread out to 6 now in favor of the Bills. 43.5 is our total with a Texans money line if you think they win this thing outright, plus 230. Go over here and take a look at what we're getting from an injury standpoint in this one. You'll see big news here. Dalton Kincaid is out for the Bills. So starting tight end going to be out for them there in that one. Curtis Samuel, Mecole Hardman, both out. Of course, they are like, wide receiver 4 and 5 options, whatever. But still, I mean, they're not going to be in there. Something to keep a look at whenever, see what this offense looks like. And what they actually are going to roll out. More on that later. Over here on the Houston Texans side, of course, the big news, C.J. Stroud not able to make it back from that concussion. So he will be out again this week. So Davis Mills will be under center for the Texans. Jalen Petrie, their starting safety, is out, as you can see, with a concussion. So he was not able to make it back from the concussion. As you know, Houston Dome, no weather concerns there. We don't need to worry about that. So file this under nobody cares what you have in your account. This was at 3.5 on Sunday in favor of the Bills. I thought it was very obvious that C.J. Stroud was not going to make it back for this game because of the way the concussion protocol works, where you have to get in 2 practices and then show no symptoms the next day from the concussion and all of that. And so just on the short week, I thought it was going to be very tough for him to make it back, and that ended up playing out. So I've got the 3.5 in there, but I don't know if the difference between Stroud and Mills is 2.5 points. I know we're going through insignificant numbers, but seems like a drastic jump there. At the 6, you start to tempt me on the Texans, and certainly anything further tempts me on the Texans even more, even with Davis Mills under center. This is still one of the very elite defenses in all of the NFL. It is the number 1 defense EPA against the pass, and obviously grades out as one of the very best defenses in all categories. And so I know that the offense leaves a little bit to be desired. And certainly with Mills under center, you could say that maybe even further. But, for me, I would need on the other side of 6. And certainly 7 is just an auto play if for whatever reason it happens to get there from a Texan standpoint. I think the total is right. It's about adequate. I mean, there are multiple different avenues for this total being okay as well, which is, the Bills score a ton. This Texans offense continues to look inept. And so, we end up with a 27-14, 27-17 game, which put us right on this kind of number. And then I think there's a world that exists where the Texans have some success on the ground against this Bills unit that is very susceptible to the run. Interestingly enough, it is pretty good against the pass. Top 10 defense against the pass on the Bills side, but boy, the rush defense has not been great for them. Even while they're top 10 on that side of the ball at preventing the pass, they are bottom 4 or 5 in the NFL against the run. So you would think that you would get at least an attempt at Woody Marks getting things going there with the Texans in this game. So Woody Marks, by the way, it is now his backfield for sure. Over the last 2 games, 78% of the rush attempts for this Texans team. So he has definitely taken over as the RB1 over Nick Chubb there. But again, really only interested in the spread and really only interested if we get on the other side of 6. And we might, before this thing kicks off. Bills are a pretty popular team, and Josh Allen, pretty popular player. Could definitely see some people come in with that. But I do have 2 props in the account correlated here. We'll just kind of breeze by the passing numbers just so you kind of see where we're sitting in this thing. We try to make sense of it all. Mills at 212, Josh Allen at 226. I know that probably seems low if maybe on first glance to you with Allen, but like I said, this Texans defense is they're studs, right? They're really great against the pass as well. So really do like them to have some success against Josh Allen and company here in this thing. Over on the rushing side of things, it's at least intriguing for me on the Woody Marks side of stuff. This rushing and receiving yards. If you look at Woody Marks, we'll find him sitting at 70. So actually, this has ticked up 2 yards just in the last half hour or so. Woody Marks was actually known coming out of college as a really good pass catcher and a really good, receiving back. And so I think there's a couple of different game scripts in which he could get there with this. One, just as I said, the Bills' run defense is very poor. And so he could get a decent amount of the way there and only have to add a catch or two in order to get us to this number. And then the other side of that is that they get down in this game, which there is a world that exists where this Bills offense just clicks like it did last week, scoring 44 points against the Bucs, and they just have to throw every single down. If that's the case, Woody Marks is still going to stay on the field. And so what you're hoping is he can at least get 2/3 of the way there for you here on this number, and then stays on the field and then catches, 3 or 4 passes. Obviously, upside of 5 passes would get you there for sure. But again, not just quite strong enough of an edge for me to get that in the account, but more, you want to play some same game parlays or something like that, then maybe something you want to add. But what I did get into the account is over here in the receiving market. So there is, and it's juice to hell, but what you're going to do is shop around here on Josh Palmer on the under. I understand those receivers are out, but they went with Shavers and really like Shavers. And actually, what I really like Shavers on an over. I'd play an alt at this point instead of laying the huge juice here on Shavers. Find you a 2.5 or find you a 1.5 that doesn't have near quite the juice as this. But I think they saw something in him last week when Keon Coleman was out. And I am going off of a gut feeling here that he's going to get some run in this game. They were kind of trying to force feed Gabe Davis and all of that, and I don't think that really works. I think Gabe Davis is probably dust, and so I think Shavers is the beneficiary of them trying to shake things up with this offense. And so I'm going to take the over on Shavers. Again, we're going to shop around. If we can't find a better juice than 1.5, I'm fine with taking 2.5 at probably plus money. And then we're going to go under on Palmer. Again, there'll be better juice probably by game time and all that. People like to bet overs and stuff. So, see if we can get a better number on Josh Palmer. If we take a look here at Josh Palmer, you can see he has gotten over the 2.5 catches exactly one time this season, and that was back in week 1. And you can see his usage just fell off a cliff after that. And it hasn't had more than 2 catches in a game since. I don't see Josh Palmer just all of a sudden having a breakout game against what, like we just said, literally the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. So going to go under there on Palmer, over on Shavers. We're going to find a better number than this before we put it into the account, and we're going to roll from there. Just a couple of props here in this for me. One thing I will say is I'm going to be looking at this game pretty decently live. If there's a couple of scores early on and this total gets up kind of, something silly, I'm going to play an under because, again, I think the Texans' path to victory, or at least trying to protect a lead, would be to run the ball. And then, of course, the Bills just, one, run the ball pretty effectively as it is anyway, and then 2, it's just very hard to pass against this Texans team. And so if for whatever reason we get a kind of a fluky couple scores early, this total floats up too high, we're coming in under on that as well. And like I said, on the same game parlay stuff, if you want to play some Woody Marks, I'm going to just assume rational coaching in this thing, which is attack the Bills at their biggest weakness, which of course is defending the run. So that's where we'll go here with this one, guys. Again, if this happens again on the other side of 6, Texans 7 was just an auto play to get in there, and think that this is a game that could end up being a little ugly. Could end up being a little ugly along the way. Again, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below. Everything we do here, absolutely free. Do appreciate all the support, and good luck on all your Thursday Night Football bets.